Can you imagine bearing the bad name and returning to school? What a comeback story. Don't worry, we've got it sorted. That kid looked like she was carrying a mountain on her back, and no one dared to mess with her after that. Matthew curiously asked the secretary, who seemed enchanted by Josiah's good vibes, stating that she's just a vacationing tourist, no need to get suspicious. However, Matthew still doubted Josiah, even though she wasn't a deliberately disruptive corporate spy. Either way, she couldn't stand Josiah's smug face in the lazy circus. The next day, Josiah slid on the slopes like a total newbie, falling flatter than a noodle, but thanks to the coach's careful guidance, she finally found her groove. But as soon as the coach let go, Josiah launched like a rocket, disappearing from sight in a puff of smoke. She zipped down the steepest slope without a scratch, soaring down like lightning, while Matthew watched her fade into the distance. Matthew felt her pride take a nosedive, and without hesitation, she chased after, her competitive spirit unwilling to back down in this tumble-off. She swore to settle the score with Josiah, but all Josiah could think was how to stop. In a panic, she grabbed Matthew, and next thing you know, they were both eating snow. Matthew realized this must be Josiah's sneaky little tactic to win, and she was fuming. So she chased after her without hesitation, her impulsiveness making her forget all her skiing skills, straight into the wild night. After crazy obstacles, Josiah managed to land perfectly. Matthew clearly wasn't having the best of luck, taking a rather embarrassing tumble in full view of everyone, whereas Josiah was enjoying a warm round of applause from the audience. At dinner, the senator invited Josiah, and Matthew, though annoyed, didn't refuse. Just as Josiah was considering an answer, the hotel manager chimed in that the chef had prepared a special seat for her with a gourmet menu. So everyone flocked to Josiah, charmed by her magnetic personality, and after a few days together, they were all infected by. Meanwhile, Matthew sat alone, sulking in the corner, awkwardly forcing herself to join in. After feasting, they started chatting away. Clearly, Josiah was the real star of the dinner. Everyone began asking Josiah about her plans tomorrow, and she mysteriously replied, "I'm planning to jump down the stairs." "Really? Jump down the stairs? Are you joking? I heard that's a secret experience. At least that way, you wouldn't see what's below." The next day, they stood on the windy dam as their friends in the tower scanned the area. "Why are you doing this?" Matthew is just mindlessly following Josiah. He's definitely competitive, but Josiah isn't taking Matthew seriously at all. Just thinking about the cliff beneath them made both shudder, and the coach casually mentioned that every year, several fearless folks bite the dust. Josiah held his breath and leaped, casting all his worries behind him in that very instant. He deeply felt that life blossomed in that moment. Amidst screams and cheers, Josiah landed safely. Ever-competitive Matthew, however, started finding excuses to back out. She started making all sorts of excuses, finally claiming I'm hypertensive, and sheepishly retreated. Matthew's parachuting fail quickly spread like wildfire, making her the talk of the town, while Josiah became a hero in every. After all the embarrassing moments, Matthew was utterly defeated, so she threw out some serious cash, bribing Josiah's personal butler to dig up some dirt. Meanwhile, Josiah walked alone in the cold wind, having gone through a thrilling adventure, starting to discover her true self. He finally realized that all the beautiful things in life existed, she just hadn't had the chance to enjoy them before. But just as she was about to enjoy it all, she found herself on a timetable, and she wasn't having any. On her way back to the hotel, everyone gathered around her. No doubt, they were all drawn to this optimistic girl. They told her there was a charity casino night, and insisted she had to join. Their enthusiasm was contagious. With everyone's eager invitation, Josiah agreed, but first, she needed to head back to rest. Back in her room, Josiah wrote down a just-in-case note, preparing herself for the unexpected. Josiah entered the casino, and fate played tricks on her again. She had an endless run of luck at the tables. It was like she was destined for this. Those playing with her hit the jackpot too, raking in chips, while poor Matthew was sweating bullets from losing. After one round of gambling, Josiah raked in over 300,000, and her daytime blues disappeared, transforming her into a vibrant daughter of fortune. After the festivities, she headed to a concert, sitting down to soak in the magnificent melodies. Meanwhile, the butler had slipped into her room, rummaging around until he stumbled upon her ID in her bag. It turns out, Josiah was just a kitchen salesperson at one of Matthew's malls, not a big shop. Just as the butler was about to share this news with Matthew, he found Josiah's note. Reading it filled him with guilt. His conscience weighed heavy. He confessed everything to Josiah. Josiah thought of her crush, Sean, but sadly, she hadn't mustered the courage to confess her feelings to him yet, to this very day. So the next day, she swiftly packed her bags and headed for the return car. Unfortunately, the road to the airport was blocked due to an avalanche.